Hello everyone. Well, whilst we're waiting for the flowers to set and start producing fruit on the main part of the vineyard, the newer side, which is where I am at the moment, is gone a little bit wild, as you can probably see behind me. So we're setting ourselves busy, a busy task to see if we can get it back under control again. So that's what we've been doing today. And so what we've been doing is literally just taking all the excess growth off, training the canes or the shoots along the fruiting line and just making it look a little bit tidier. These vines behind me are only into their second year, I think, so they're still quite new. We're not looking to take any fruit off them really this year. That said, there's absolutely loads and loads of fruit set on these new vines, and so I think this is really going to be a bumper crop in years to come. These are the red Rondo variety of grapes that we're growing here, and they're looking rather good. Deciding which shoot to actually cut is quite a difficult decision, but at the end of the day we're really looking for a shape to start these vines off on a good start in life, and that is basically getting one shoot going one way along the fruiting line and another shoot going across on the opposite direction. So we've basically got a T shape at the top. All the excess really can be trimmed off if we have a few going upwards into the catch wires at this stage, and that's no bad thing, but really we're just looking to get an initial shape. Now, when you're going through the vines, you do occasionally come across one which is feeling a little bit sorry for itself. This one behind me, even though it looks superficially okay, you know, all the leaves look really, really nice and everything like that. We've got a few nice strong ones growing up the support cane here, which is good. The problem with this one behind me is that all this foliage is coming from the rootstock itself, not from the grafted bit of the vine. The rootstock, which is this one here, this is an SO4 rootstock, is grafted onto in this case it's a Rondo variety, which is this segment here, and that's the graft union. Now this bit is what we want, but all these shoots that you can see are emanating from below, which is this point, and we really don't want that. Now, the problem is that if you get all this foliage coming from the rootstock itself, it looks fantastic, it will grow really, really well, but the big problem is it won't produce any fruit whatsoever. We've had one or two like this in the vineyard, and even though you can get monstrous loads of foliage above, and the canes and the shoots look fantastic, they just don't have any fruit, and they won't get any fruit on them at all. So the best thing you can do is to chop it all back, and if you've got any kind of live growth coming from the grafted part, then just concentrate on that. So that's what I'm going to do on this particular one. Now fortunately we do have some live shoots coming from this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose the best one, which looks like it's the one which I'm holding here, and get rid of everything else and just see if I can start training this one up the support cane. It looks a little brutal, having taken off so much from this plant that looked like it was doing quite well. What we're left with is a rather sort of funny shaped plant, which isn't that surprising really, because a lot of the good growth, or the growth from the actual grafted bit, was being suppressed, and it's all fallen over and it's a bit knackered. But it won't take long. It will regain its shape and it will start growing vigorously from now on. So it's up to the fruiting line here. So I'm going to snip off the growing tip and just tape that onto the cane, to the support cane, and move on to the next one. You'll also find that when you come to pruning and just looking after your vines, you'll find that some vines are doing really, really well, really vigorous, strong, just look like they're going to take off and do fantastically, and they just need managing. On the other hand, you'll come across some vines that really do struggle, and this one here, for example, is the same age as that other one I just showed you, but it's got all sorts of, I don't know, just really, really sort of straggly looking little twig type things coming out of it. there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that vine. It's just that the roots haven't quite established themselves, and it's just throwing up all sorts of stuff at the top. The roots are probably struggling to get through the initial fairly tight hole that we put in the ground. Sometimes vines just don't take immediately, but don't give up on it. It's still okay. What I tend to try and do on a situation like this is I just try and find one decent-ish, I mean it's not decent, but I mean it will do, decent looking type of growth there. We'll keep an eye on that one, and then literally just chop everything else off so that all that root energy can just be concentrated into that one growing tip, which is that one just there. It's going to concentrate on that bit. Then I suppose the only other final thing to do is just to give it a little bit of support like that, and at least it will be kept upright. Now hopefully this bit will start to develop up the support cane there, and all the other sort of rubbish down here will just wither away, as it were, and we'll hopefully get some growth. Now the thing is that you've got to catch these ones quite early, because if they don't produce enough growth during the growing season, i.e. now during the summertime, come winter time they're just not going to be developed enough in order to survive possibly a frost or some really cold snaps, as it were. So see if you can spot the wither, the sort of slightly naff ones early on, and give them some TLC, and they should recover. Well, keep our fingers crossed for that one. Right, well, if you're finding any of these videos interesting or informative, then feel free to pop over to our new Patreon page, where you'll find loads more videos behind the scenes and surveys and just a bit more of an interactive community. And just for a few dollars or pounds per episode, you're really helping me and the channel out to keep going, basically. And you can set yourself a monthly budget if you prefer. We make a maximum of 4 videos a month, and probably in the winter months we won't make that many, but yeah, pop over there, see what you think, and yeah, if you can support me and the channel, then that would be absolutely fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. Right, back to this video. So moving on, when I'm just going through the vineyard, just having a look at everything, I've got this one here. Again, this one's a Rondo red variety. It's doing really well. It's got the start of an initial double guillot type shape. It's got one nice strong cane going off in this direction, and it's got another one just here going off in this direction, and that's essentially what we want to start the vine off at. Now of course, if you let this go, this growing tip here will just carry on and on and on all the way up the fruiting line. We don't really want it to go that far out of control. So what I tend to do is, you've got a vine there. We've actually got a dead one there, but imagine that one was alive. We're going halfway, roughly, a little bit perhaps beyond, and I'm just going to snip that one off there, get rid of all of that. These are second year vines, so I'm not too worried about it going completely out of control vertically at the moment. So I'm just going to snip that one about there. I've got the next vine coming up here. There's a slight crossover, so we'll get rid of those two up there. That can go. So that's starting to look quite good. We've got this little dangly bit coming out here. Now this is actually lower down from the main T there. There you go, there's the T section there. I'm inclined, because I know that this vine is really well established, I'm inclined to get rid of this one, but what I'll do is I'll get rid of it 2 little, not buds, but little sort of leaf points beyond the junction there. So I'm going to snip it there, get rid of that one. Any of these little water shoots, we'll get rid of those. And now that one's starting to look much better. And the only other thing which I'd probably do is just fasten it down to the fruiting line there, if I can do that with one hand. And then we move on to the next one. We've got another problem vine behind me, and it's a strange one, and I'm going to ask for your help on this one, really. It's the only vine in the vineyard that is showing this particular problem, and it's essentially thinking that autumn has arrived already. The leaves are an absolutely gorgeous red colour. It's got fruit setting underneath it there. And yeah, it's green on the tips, on the growing tips, but very quickly it's turning a gorgeous red. It's so strange that I'm beginning to think that actually it's a completely different variety of vine that I've got here. We're in the section of the vineyard that is growing the Rondo variety, and I've just got a funny feeling this is a completely different variety. Either that or there's some genetic mutation or something like that, I'm not too sure. So yeah, if you've got any ideas, put them in the comments. I'm completely stumped on this one. Well, when you've got a lot of vines to process and prune and do all this kind of thing, it does seem a little bit daunting, but you've just got to start and just keep going on. Rome wasn't built in a day, as it were, and if you just sort of tackle each row one at a time, maybe do 3, 4 in one go, leave it, come back another time, do a few more, then eventually the whole lot just gets done, and you can, you know, after a while, look at what you've done and you think, crikey, that's actually quite a lot. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.